Yesterday, I did a set of nails that took me 3 hours and 20 minutes. I don't think I've done a set of nails that's taken me that long in quite a while. I think since I've implemented my nail art tiers, a lot of my clients tend to go for something a little bit more simple because it's obviously cheaper, which I completely understand, and I love doing sets like that. But 3 hours and 20 minutes is, let me tell you, it was definitely a marathon and not a sprint. They basically were her wedding nails, which is a lot of pressure in and of itself. When somebody messages you wanting wedding nails, you instantly sort of curl up inside and want to die. In the best way, obviously. But they weren't just any regular wedding nails, they weren't ombre, they weren't French tip, they weren't just glittery. They were very intricate nail art. Basically, they were a white base with all black nail art, and the nail art looked like sort of like the ornate designs that you would find in a church. So they were like those swirly whirly patterns, that you find in the stonework or on the windows. And they were really difficult to do. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know if I 100% nailed it. I They don't get me wrong, they look really good, and I am so proud of myself. And my client was really happy with them. Well, she seemed really happy with them, and I was happy with them. But I think once she left and I looked at the photos, I just analysed them too much, and I picked them apart and beat myself up about it, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I don't know why I wanted to talk about that, but I think it's something that we all struggle with. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as nail technicians, and nail artists to make everything perfect, and we forget that actually all of our nail art is hand painted, and it's okay for it to look hand painted. It's okay for it to be imperfect and for it to, not it's okay to not replicate something exactly. Basically, this nail artist, I think she's called Spellbound Nails on Instagram. Oh my god, she is incredible. If you have not followed her, well, if you don't follow her or you've not checked out her work, you seriously need to, because her artwork is impeccable, like insane. And I think to get to that level, you have to be extremely experienced, and I think she's probably been doing what she's been doing for quite a few years, probably longer than I have. So for me to compare an exact set of nails that she's done to a set of nails that I've done is not really fair on myself. So this is your little reminder that if you are having a moment like that right now, to just take a step back, look at what you've achieved and what you've done, and be proud of yourself and try your best to be happy with it. And as I always say, if your client is happy, that is all that matters. So now I've had my little rant and ramble. If you're new here, my name is Olivia. I'm a fully qualified nail technician, and I have been for 2 years now. I work self employed out of my home salon, and as you can probably guess, I love my job. I'm passionate about all things nails, if that wasn't obvious enough by now. And I just wanted to welcome you to the podcast. So, this is Nailin It, the podcast. We have made it to the 10th episode, finally. I feel like it's been a long time coming to try and get to double digits. I took a little bit of a break a few weeks ago because my sister had a baby and I had other things going on in life and business, and I just couldn't commit to doing the podcast as well. So it's taken me a while to get to the 10th episode, but we have made it. We're here. And fun fact, I've actually recorded this whole episode once before last week. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen on my Instagram story, I made a short little story where I told you all that I had an episode ready to go out last week, but unfortunately, when I came to edit it, I realised that The audio wasn't coming through my mic, it was coming through my laptop mic, and it just sounded really crap. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I was 100% happy with the episode anyway. So it was a great excuse to scrap it, start again, try again, and here we are. A week later, we're trying again. We don't give up around here, we keep going until we get it right. So today's episode is going to be all about social media and the impact that it has on us and our businesses. And I thought that this was a really important topic to talk about because I think it's something that is extremely relevant to all of us. No matter who you are or what business you run, social media plays a huge part in that right now. Obviously, we use it for many different things, whether it's just to express ourselves, to share our work, or to promote ourselves and market our businesses. So I wanted to dedicate a whole episode to this topic. Hopefully, a lot of you can relate to what I talk about and what I say. And yeah, but before I dive into that, I do have a question for How to Nail It. If you are new here and you don't know what How to Nail It is and you don't know what I'm chatting about, it's basically a segment of the podcast where I answer one of your questions. So I didn't have a specific submission for How to Nail It this week, but I did have somebody ask me on my Instagram DMs. I can't remember her name. I think she was called Kim. But it wasn't from a business account. It didn't look like it was just from a regular account. So I may not include a name actually. Oh wait, it was Kristen. I won't include a full name because it's not a business account. But she said, "Do you give private classes? If not, would you be interested?" And she also said, "I absolutely love your work." Well, thank you very much. That's a lovely compliment. So private classes. Let's talk about it. I Basically, the short answer is no. I do not offer private classes, and I am not considering opening up any sort of workshop or classes just because I feel like I'm not there right now in my business and to be perfectly honest, in myself. I have only been qualified for 2 years, well, just over 2 years, as I mentioned in my intro. And I just feel like I do not have the experience to be able to teach people what I know. Um, I obviously do a lot of informative videos on my social media, which I love. I love that side of it, and I love sharing my knowledge and spreading information out there. But as for accepting somebody's money in exchange for my knowledge and my experience, I just would not feel comfortable with that because I don't feel like I have that experience right now. It's definitely something that I would absolutely love to do in the future. I actually don't want to be a client-facing business. I don't want that to be my only income and my sole income. I love my clients and I love doing their nails, but I know that for me that side of my business is not sustainable. And there are many reasons for that, whether it be like your mental health. Talking to numerous different people every single day is very tiring and very exhausting. As much as I love it, it's hard work. Also, it's difficult on your body. Physically, we are hunched over all day. I'm sure you can all relate to that feeling. And I just don't think that it's a long-term goal for me to be client facing. So I have a lot of goals for me and my business and where I want it to go. And one of those goals is definitely teaching, whether that be, going into teaching alongside a brand and doing it the, accredited way, or whether that be just doing little workshops and private classes. I don't know yet. I'm just not there, and it's not something that I have planned in my immediate future. But I do have other plans for sharing my knowledge in a slightly more what's the word, in a more personal way, I think, than just posting videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I do have plans for that in the near future. I'm hoping that that will be coming in the new year. It's something that I'm thinking about a lot and I'm trying to work on behind the scenes. And it's basically just going to be like sort of like a paid subscription. And you can get a little bit more of my time, I suppose, and a little bit more of my knowledge in a more detailed way. But that is not something that I'm offering right now. So it is coming and it is in the future, but just not right this second. Another point that I wanted to make on this topic of private classes and workshops is that there is so many already out there. And for me to do that and get into that, I want to feel like I'm adding something different to what other people are doing. You know, there are so many amazing educators out there, and even Nails by Shan, who was the nail tech spotlight of the week in last week's episode, well, not last week's, the week before, the last episode, she is actually offering workshops now, and mainly for beginner nail technicians. So if you are looking for somebody that has a lot of knowledge and you want some guidance, I think her workshops include anything from like confidence building to posting on social media to build a gel application. So if you want to do something like that, then definitely go and check Shan out. I know that she's a lovely person and she would be a really great person to do something like that with. So yeah, short answer is no. I can't give a short answer, can I? But basically, no, I don't offer private classes and I don't have any plans to in the near future, unfortunately. But I've got other plans in the works that are very exciting. So, now that I've answered that question, we can actually dive into the topic of the episode. So, as I mentioned, it's all about social media. Like I said earlier, social media can be really great, but it can also be really quite a negative place, more so now than ever, I think. But to keep me on track for this topic, I've actually written out some questions, and they are questions that I have received in the past, or they're just questions that I think would be good to answer. I wanted to do it this way because I think it's a very broad topic and I think that I could talk about it for a very long time. So I just wanted to make sure that I was staying on topic and um, making sure that I was hitting all the points that I wanted to hit. So that's why I've set it out like this. Let me know if you do like it in this format, because if you do, I can implement this format into other episodes as well instead of just sort of rambling and talking. So the first question I have down here is, has posting on social media helped the growth of your business? Yes, definitely. I think that without social media, my business wouldn't be where it is today, and I don't think I would have the confidence that I do right now. I think that social media has helped my business grow in many different ways. So, first of all, being the amount of clients that I have, I don't think that I would have the number of clients that I do without the help of Instagram and TikTok promoting me. I have gained more clients from, I think I've gained more clients from Instagram than I have from TikTok. But it's also helped in the sense that the content that I create reaches a lot of people, and most of those people are nail technicians, but just because those people are nail technicians, it doesn't mean that it doesn't reach other people that want their nails doing, if that makes sense. I don't know if that made any sense. But yes, posting on social media has massively helped the growth of my business. And like I said, I don't think that I would have as many clients as I do, and I don't think that I would be as confident as I am right now if it wasn't for the help of social media. The next question is, what helped grow your followers? Now, I put this question in here because I think that somebody may look at the number of followers I have and wonder sort of how I'd done it or how I got there. And I just wanted to be like upfront and honest, because most of my followers have come from one particular video. Now, I have been posting consistently on social media for over a year now. I think it was September of last year that I started sort of taking it seriously and posting more, especially on over on TikTok. And in that year, I have gained 18,000 followers on Instagram and 25,000 followers on TikTok. And they are, to me, massive numbers. That is, if I think about it too much, it makes me feel weird. Because they're big numbers, and if that many people were stood in front of me and were watching me work, I would freak the fuck out. But luckily, they're not stood in front of me, they're just over the internet, so it's fine. And the majority of my followers did come from one video in particular, and that video was a come and join me for a 3 client day, I think. I think it was a 3 client day. And I up until that video, I was posting a lot of different content. A couple of those videos did well in terms that they got like a few thousand views. But this, when I posted this one particular video, I woke up the next morning and I was like, what the fuck has happened? I don't understand. I posted it on TikTok and Instagram and it did well on both platforms. So I don't know what it was about that one particular video that just went crazy, but people liked it, and that is where the majority of my followers came from. That is what gave me my boost. I think I probably, well, I did definitely jump up to 10k followers on Instagram by Christmas last year. Was it Christmas? Yeah, I think it was by Christmas last year. So I gained what, like 9,500 followers in the space of like 2 months, which is absurd and crazy and unbelievable. But I just think that it can look a little bit a little bit disheartening for somebody who has been doing the same as me and they've been posting consistently on social media for a number of months or even a number of years. It can be really disheartening to see somebody else overtake them in followers, or they've gained more followers in a shorter amount of time than you have. And it's not because you're not special or because your content isn't good. That isn't the reason at all. It's just that sometimes the algorithm, like sometimes you'll post a video and the algorithm just fucking loves it and it will just pump it out there and the video will do really well and you will gain loads of followers from it. It happens with most creators. I don't think that there is anyone out there that has just steadily grown in followers and got to 100k followers. That isn't a thing. They post one video that the algorithm eats up and absolutely loves, and it just pumps it out to everybody, and that's where they gain their followers from. And you will find that most people that have a lot of followers on social media actually don't tend to get that many views because it's that one video that has got loads of views and loads of likes and loads of comments. So I just want you to bear that in mind when it comes to social media. It is luck of the draw. You know, I don't think that that video that I posted was particularly good. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know why those day in the life videos do so well on my social media, because even now they still do really well. I have no idea why people love them. Because they are one of the easiest videos that I film and they take the least amount of effort, if I'm perfectly honest. So I don't know. But that's basically how my followers grew. I'm not saying that I haven't worked for it and I haven't put the effort in to grow, to gain more followers from that video doing really well, and to keep my followers. But I just think that it can be very deceiving and disheartening when somebody, surpasses you in followers when you have been doing the same thing for the same amount of time. So I just want to remind you that it's not that you're doing anything wrong. If you keep making content that you love and that you're passionate about, you will keep growing, and growing slow and steady is probably even better than having one video go viral. So just bear that in mind when you are thinking about all of the numbers. So the next question I have is also related to followers and numbers. So, does the amount of followers you have directly impact the amount of bookings you have? I think no. I don't think that it directly impacts anything at all. I I think that you could have 100k followers and have no clients in your chair, or you could have, 200 followers and you could be a fully booked nail technician. I don't think that it has any direct impact whatsoever. It has impacted my business, and I have gained clients from people that have followed me on social media, but in general terms, I do not think that it has any direct impact. I think that your social media is a separate entity to your client facing business, basically. I think that it can help you in your client facing business and it can be a great tool for marketing, but I do not think that the amount of followers you have directly impacts the client facing business and how many bums you have in your seat. So the next question is, does consistently posting on social media actually help push your content out? Yes, I think so. But I also would say that quality is more important than quantity. I think that you can post every single day on social media, but if what you're posting isn't very good, or you're not passionate about it, or it's just using, a trending sound, I don't think that the consistency matters at all. I think that what matters is that the content that you're putting out there is good quality and you enjoy making it and you are passionate about making it, because that speaks volumes and people can sense that through the screen. They know when you're being genuine and when you are enjoying yourself and when you're being authentically you. So I do think that consistency is key. I think you consistently have to put out quality content to grow your following, because unfortunately, there is a huge number of content creators and people posting on social media. So, for you to stay relevant and for people to keep wanting to watch your content, you have to keep posting it and you have to be consistent with it. But, like I said, I also think that if you're just posting for the sake of it, that's not going to gain you anything. So, yeah, bear in mind that you should post consistently, but I think quality is much more important than quantity. So even if you just end up posting once a week, that is still consistency, and people will still realize, like, they will still come back to you every week as long as you're posting on a schedule. So I actually now have a social media manager, because something that I really struggled with was staying consistent on my social media and posting consistently good content. And I decided to bring on a social media manager to not put pressure on me, but to have somebody to hold me accountable so that I could create really good quality content, and I had somebody there that could post that content for me consistently. So now the posting side of things is out of my hands and somebody else does that for me. My lovely client Layla, she is so nice. So she posts all of my content on TikTok and Instagram now. She will be taking on a little bit more in terms of my content. Like, she'll start posting on YouTube and she will start posting my podcast as well. But just having that element of it taken away from me, and I don't have to think about that anymore, means that I can focus on creating really good quality content that I want to put out there. So that's sort of how I am doing it now and how I am staying consistent. And I really want to grow the social media side of my business, and I would love to sort of be a lot more focused on my content creation because I really enjoy that side of things. And as I mentioned earlier in this episode, client facing isn't something that I want to do for years to come, basically. So I have to think of other ways that I can make income, and one of those ways is posting on social media. So the consistency for me is really important because I want to grow that side of my business. If you're not really bothered about growing that side of your business and you're just doing it for fun because you enjoy it, I think that you should just post whenever you want to post, and if people like you, they'll come back and watch it. But if you are wanting to grow, I do think consistency is key. So the next question relates to the previous question because it's about consistency. And the question is, do you struggle with the pressure to consistently post on social media? So obviously, I've just talked about the fact that I now have a social media manager because I do think that I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to post consistently. And with that pressure, it meant that I actually wasn't posting consistently, if that makes sense. Because I was putting so much pressure on myself, it meant that I sort of was doing the opposite, and I was taking a step back, and I would sort of overwhelm myself, I suppose, and just like drop everything and decide, well, this week I can't bother posting anything. So yes, I definitely do struggle with the pressure to consistently post because there is so much content out there that you, I think, constantly feel like you're competing, if not with everybody else, then with yourself. You always want to do better, and you always want to make sure that you're sticking to a schedule and that you're staying relevant and you're on top of your game and you're posting, good content all of the time. So the pressure to consistently post gets to me, but it's the pressure to consistently post good content. That's what really gets to me. I don't want to post shitty videos. I focus more on doing voiceover videos and sharing my knowledge and a lot of information, and that stuff takes time to film and to edit and to post. So yes, I do feel pressure to consistently post. Obviously, that pressure has been relieved now that I have a social media manager, which I have to say is lovely. This is only the second week that we are working together, me and Layla. So we're still in a teething process, but I have to say, just not having to think about going on Instagram and TikTok to post the content that I've made is fabulous. She just does it all for me, and she's doing a great job so far. So I love that side of it, and it has definitely taken the pressure off for that consistency. So the next question is, how do you come up with content ideas? Which obviously relates to consistency because you have to with consistently posting, you have to consistently come up with great content ideas. And that is really difficult. And I would say one of the most difficult parts of the job. Well, not the job. My social media is not my job, obviously. This is the point in the episode where I start to lose my mind a little bit and I don't know what I'm saying. So I'm going to try my hardest to stick on topic, but I start going delirious because I've been talking for like nearly 30 minutes now, so just bear with me. So, what was the question? How do you come up with content ideas? So, I think that I mainly sort of try and think about it from a beginner nail tech's perspective. A lot of what I post is aimed at those newbie nail techs that need a lot of help because I remember what it was like coming into this industry. It's extremely overwhelming. There is so much content out there, there is so much information out there, there's so many products out there. So I like to share my knowledge and my information to help those newbie nail techs mainly. So I try and think about it from little baby nail tech Olivia's perspective, and I think what it is I would have liked to have seen when I was first coming into this industry, and what would have helped me in the process of, whether that be the application of builder gel, or whether it be, something to do business wise, or whether it be what tools you should buy. That, there's so many different content ideas that come just from that one thought of what was it that I needed when I was a beginner nail technician. So that's where most of my content ideas come from. I also obviously take inspiration from other nail technicians and other content creators. I think there is a massive stigma out there that we shouldn't be copying each other, but I think that as long as you don't directly copy somebody and you're just taking inspiration from them and you credit people for that inspiration, I think there is nothing wrong with it. Obviously, at the end of the day, we are all posting our content for public view for anyone to look at and anyone to do whatever they want with. And if that means that somebody copies what I do, I'm not bothered. So I don't really see why other people are that bothered about it either. But yeah, so they're the two main ways that I come up with my content ideas. What else do I do? I have random thoughts throughout the day. So, I may be like in the middle of doing a set of nails and I think, oh, this would be a really good thing to film, whether it be me doing a little bit of nail art that I know somebody has asked me about in one of the comments on my videos. So I'll just quickly get my phone out and start recording. I, you know, film a lot of my clients' nails. I film, I would say, most appointments, whether it be for the whole appointment or whether it just be for a little tiny snippet of it. I have my phone out filming most of the time so that I always have content ready to go, and an idea will usually spark from just having my phone out and recording something and going back at a later date and looking at that content and thinking, oh, that would be a really good part of it to share that somebody might find helpful. So hopefully that answer to that question made sense. But yeah, coming up with content ideas is extremely difficult, and I I tend to keep a list on my phone, to be honest, because I will forget things. So if a random thought pops into my head, I just quickly jot it down in my notes app on my phone. So then I've always got a list of content ideas that I have to go off. Um, and then I can just edit videos from there, if that makes sense. So relating to what I just said, the next question is, how do you edit your videos? I edit everything on CapCut. I use CapCut to edit my TikTok videos, my Instagram videos, and my YouTube videos, and even this podcast. I think it's a really great application for editing. You can obviously get the phone version or you can have the desktop version on your laptop or computer. They're both really great. They're both really easy to use. I actually have the pro version, so I do pay for it. I think it's £10 a month, something like that, which just means that you get a few extra features. But I've only just recently upgraded to the pro version. Before that, I was just on the regular version and it was perfectly fine and really good. So it is a free app to download and I would highly, highly recommend it. CapCut, can you give me a little sponsorship, please? Because I'm always raving about that app. So yeah, if you haven't tried it yet, I would definitely use that to edit your videos, because it also means that you can recycle your videos, so you can post what you've posted on TikTok onto Instagram as well. So I record everything in my phone camera, and then I go on to CapCut, import it and edit it. I don't film anything in TikTok unless it's like a video where I am sat talking to the camera, replying to a comment or something like that. So other than that, I film everything on my phone and then import it into CapCut and edit it that way. I just find it's the easiest way to do it. There is no watermarks involved, so you can use it on TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, I just think it's a really great app to use and it's really easy to use. So the next question is like a two-in-one. So it's, has social media impacted your everyday life, and have the numbers of followers, likes, and views impacted you negatively? Yes, social media has impacted my everyday life. I think at times definitely negatively. Right now it doesn't feel negative. It feels very positive and feels like a happy place. But in the past it has felt very negative to me, and the numbers of followers, likes and views has definitely got to me. I have tried actively to let go of that feeling and to not let it consume me. The numbers are, at one time felt like a validation. Like the more views that I had, the more likes that a video got, the more followers I gained from that one video meant that that video was really good. And that was validation, and that was sort of a form of attention. So it uplifts you and it makes you feel good. So then when the next video you post doesn't do as well and it doesn't get as many views, it can feel deflating. So I have really tried to eliminate that feeling out of my life. I think that it's really toxic and a really negative feeling. And I think that it's a lot of the times why when somebody gets big on social media and becomes an influencer, quote unquote, um, they tend to change as a person because those numbers get to their head and they are no longer humble. And I don't, not to say that my numbers are anywhere near me feeling superior in that way, but I never want to feel that way. I still want to feel like little old me is just filming a podcast in her salon that's in her box room in her house. I don't want to be like, caught up in the numbers and thinking that I'm better than anyone else or that I am not good enough because of the numbers that are on my screen. It's really, really, really difficult and it's a really hard thing to let go of. So if you are focused on the numbers, I urge you to take a step back and to realize that those numbers on the screen don't matter. And all that matters is that what you have put on the internet and what you have posted on social media is what you want to post and it's what makes you happy. Because, like I said before, people can sense that and they can feel it. If you're posting something that is just authentic and you have enjoyed creating it, people will like it. Whether that's a small number of people or a large number of people, it does not fucking matter. All that matters is that you're enjoying yourself and you are happy. And don't let the numbers define that happiness because it's it's just a never ending battle that you probably won't ever win, because if you post a video that does really well, you're constantly going to be trying to beat that video in some way or another, or you're constantly going to be looking at the number of followers that you have and trying to overtake that number. So you really have to just let go of it and not think about it. It's not important. What's important is that you're enjoying yourself. And as for social media impacting my everyday life, I do think that it has impacted my everyday life in the sense that I think about it a lot. I think about the content I want to post. I go on and look at comments people have left me on my videos. I go on and I'm checking DMs all the time. But I don't think that that feels negative anymore. When I first started gaining traction and gaining followers, I got caught up in the moment and I let that side of it consume me and I was constantly on my phone. It caused a little bit of a rift in mine and Harvey's relationship. He started to get very frustrated at the fact that I was always on my phone and that was all I thought about pretty much 24/7 and I felt like nothing else mattered to me basically. So it was really important that I let go of that for myself and obviously for Harvey as well. So and it was also something as well that my sister had mentioned to me. If you don't know, I actually live with my sister as well as my partner Harvey. And Lucy had mentioned it to me a few times. She'd mentioned that I was sat on my phone and I wasn't paying attention to what it was she was saying. And that's not who I want to be. That's not where I want to be. And I just needed to take a step back and realize that social media is not my world and I need to focus on what's around me, not what's in my phone, and not let that give me the attention and validation that I need, because all of the attention and validation I need comes from the people around me that I love and that care for me. So yeah, Sorry, that got deep for a moment there. But it has impacted my everyday life in the past, but not so much anymore, I don't think. So the next question is, do you compare yourself to others? Um, yes, of course I do. I think that that is normal. I think that it's really difficult nowadays to not compare yourself to other people. We live in a time that is so focused on what other people are doing. We are constantly consuming other people's content. We are constantly bothered about what other people are doing in their lives. So, with that comes comparison. And I definitely have compared myself to others in a negative way in the past. I have compared the amount of followers I have. I've compared, you know, video views. I've compared the way that I look, the way that I talk. But like I said, I've tried really hard to not let the negatives impact my life anymore, and that is part of it. I am still very guilty of looking at what other people are doing and, thinking, am I good enough? Is my content as good as theirs? Do I have this product that they have that, I might need? There's so many things that go into comparison and comparing yourself to other people. And it's a very complex topic because it can very quickly lead to jealousy. And I am definitely guilty of this at times. I think that it's normal to envy other people, and I do think an aspect of it is very positive because it can motivate you to do better and to be better and to achieve the goals you want to achieve. But also it can be an extremely negative feeling and you can spiral very, very quickly. So yes, I do compare myself to others. It's something that I actively try to not do right now because it has definitely made me feel really shitty about myself in the past and really negative about where I am and who I am. So we went really deep there for a second. These next three questions are a little bit easier to answer and a bit more lighthearted. So the next one is, what social media platform do you prefer? I definitely think I prefer. It depends what it's for. So for my personal consumption, I think that YouTube tops it for me. YouTube is where my obsession with social media started as like a 13-year-old girl. I would watch makeup tutorials and all the vloggers, Zoella and Louise Pentland, and there's countless others, isn't there? Mia Maples. Um, so my heart sits with YouTube, I think, for my own consumption, and when I want to watch something, it will most likely be on YouTube. But for content creation, I think that TikTok is my favorite. I think that TikTok has such an incredible variety of people on there. And I think that people just tend to be themselves. It's not polished, it's not perfect. People post shitty videos, they post really aesthetically pleasing videos. You could scroll on TikTok for an hour and have 10 different genres of videos pop up on your phone. So I love that about TikTok. Obviously I love Instagram because it is just full of incredible photos. I have to say I never watch Instagram Reels. I don't like that aspect of Instagram at all. Even though I do post Instagram Reels and they do tend to do well, I personally do not watch Instagram Reels. In fact, I kind of hate them a little bit. I'll watch them if they pop up on my feed, but I never click on the reel icon at the bottom. I'm always on my feed of photos and videos. So yeah, they're the different reasons why I love each platform, but YouTube has my heart and it tops it for me. I love YouTube. So The next question is, which platform has given you the most clientele? I would definitely say Instagram. In my Instagram posts, I always I always hashtag my location. So I put hashtag nail salon Lancaster, and I also tag my location in every post as well. And that has gained me a lot of clients. I would say in terms of like TikTok and Instagram, I think that it's probably like 70-30. I've gained like 70% of my clients from Instagram, 30% off TikTok. Well, as far as I know, they're the numbers. I do tend to ask new clients where they found me and how they found me, just because I personally find it interesting, and I also then know what platform I should put more effort into if I want to gain more clients. But yeah, I would say that Instagram is the main form of marketing for my business, for my client facing business. So the last question I have here is, what differences do you see between TikTok and Instagram? I feel like I've touched on this a little bit throughout the other questions, but I think that Instagram is very much focused on the polished side of things. So everything has to be clean and aesthetically pleasing, and that's where you gain likes and follows on Instagram. Whereas TikTok, I think that you can be a little bit more authentic and you can be yourself, and you don't have to think too hard about what you're posting. You can just post whatever it is you want to post. Not to say that you can't do that with Instagram as well, of course you can, but I do think that TikTok you can be a little bit more authentically yourself. And in terms of like followers, I think that it's a lot easier to gain a following on TikTok than it is on Instagram. I think that TikTok tends to push your content out to more like-minded people, and Instagram just pushes your content out to your followers. So a lot of the times you'll find that if you look at your statistics on Instagram and TikTok, on Instagram, you'll find that a lot of your interactions come from people that follow you. Follow you. That sounded weird. Whereas over on TikTok, most of your interactions will come from the For You page. So that's something to bear in mind as well. I think with TikTok, you have to assume that the people that are watching don't know who you are, and they're seeing your content for the first time, whereas over on Instagram it is a little bit more loyal with your interactions. You know, it's most likely going to be like the same people that are liking your content over and over again. So that is all I have to say today. I think I have been talking for a long time, long enough for my camera battery to die. So that is my sign that I need to go. But before I go, obviously I need to do Nail Tech Spotlight of the Week. And this week it goes to Phoebe Clark. So Phoebe is a obviously really great nail artist. She posts lots of different content on TikTok. Let me just check what her username is so I get it right. So her username on TikTok is by Phoebe Clark. And then on Instagram, I think it's manicured by Phoebe. Let me double check that because obviously I don't want to get it wrong, but it will be in the description. Yes, manicured by Phoebe. So the reason that Phoebe gets the Nail Tech Spotlight of the Week this week is because I absolutely love her TikTok content. I think that she is killing it. She creates videos that are very aesthetically pleasing. She creates videos that are funny. She creates videos that are informative. All of her content is really great quality. The lighting is always on point. And I just think she is absolutely nailing it. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she is one of those content creators that you can feel that she is authentic. You can feel that she is just being herself. She isn't putting on a show for anybody. She is just posting what she wants to post, and it's not for anyone but herself. And I just love that. And I think that is so obvious in the way she is and the content that she posts. And also, her work is incredible. Like, her manicures are literally flawless. You couldn't pick out a flaw in a set of nails that she has done. She is amazing. So if you haven't followed her already, definitely go and give her a follow and show her some love from me. So that was her TikTok is by Phoebe Clark, and then her Instagram is manicured by Phoebe. So definitely go and check her out. Check out her content, show her some love, give her a follow, and yeah, I just love her. I'm a little bit obsessed with her. In a non-creepy way, of course. So that's all I have for today's episode. Please let me know if you liked the way I laid out the episode with the questions rather than just talking. I do think it helped me stay on track a little bit. I feel like this was a very intense subject, and I definitely could have gone on for another hour talking about it. But my mouth is dry and I desperately need a drink. But I will, if you want to, hear more about this topic and you're interested in having another episode surrounding this topic, I can do that for you, and I can maybe even arrange to have a guest on as well. Because I think that it would be a really great topic to discuss with somebody else as well, to bounce off of, because obviously everyone has different views and different opinions and different experiences. So yeah, please let me know what you think of this episode, if you've enjoyed it, and if you relate at all to what I've said. Don't forget to give me a follow if you're watching, well, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and you can follow me if you're watching on Spotify or, listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so, so much for listening to this episode if you have made it all the way to the end. The 10th episode! Woo! We finally got there! We're in double fucking digits now, people! Now I really need to stay consistent, don't I? Let us see if we can get to 20 episodes by the end of the year. I will actually give myself a massive pat on the back if I get there. But yeah, I am going now. I love you a lot, and I will speak to you next week. Bye bye.